Hey guys, this is Trenchy back again to bring you another video, and this time we're taking on Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This came out in 1988, and was the premiere of Danielle Harris. This was, I believe, her first movie. It says introducing, so that usually means that's their first role. Um, and you also have Ellie Ellie Cornell, I think it is, as Rachel, and Donald Pleasance is back, of course, But I really like this entry. I really like Halloween 4. I think it does a lot of things right, and like I said before, it was kind of like Halloween 2 and Halloween 4 are very close for me. Um, I really like this one. First of all, we gotta give them this. They came in and they came in after having Laurie for two movies. You have Laurie for two movies, and she was a very established final girl. And then they come in and they bring in this new girl, Jamie. Jamie, her daughter, played by Danielle Harris, and Jamie has become just as popular as Laurie. And you don't really see that too often. Look at the Nightmare series. When you think of Nightmare, you think of Nancy. Everybody, mostly everybody goes straight to Nancy. Nobody talks about Alice. Nobody talks about Alice. It's all about Nancy, and Nancy was only really established in one movie. Um, she had Dream Warriors, of course, but even then, she wasn't the final girl. Um, and Friday the 13th, yeah, it's kind of like that. They bring in new final girls all the time, but like I just said, they bring in new final girls all the time. So it's not really you're not really trying to follow something up like they did in this. You're not really trying to follow a certain character up. Um, which is what they had to do with this movie because obviously they couldn't get Jamie Lee Curtis or whatever the fuck. Um, so they did they brought in Jamie, and Jamie's great. Danielle Harris has to be given props here for her first role. She plays this really good. In the hands of another actress, this role could have been very annoying because Jamie whines a lot. She does. I'm not gonna lie, she whines a lot, and she's very kid-like, and kids can just be like, come off as annoying, especially on film, you know, of with their behavior. Their behavior can be very annoying, but Danielle Harris brought a charm to this role, and uh, literally was so good at just bringing that charm that you love Jamie. You love Jamie and you want her to be safe. Same for Rachel. Uh, you know, she had to follow up Laurie as well because just as much as Jamie, she is the final girl of this movie. And Rachel's fucking awesome. Does she have her flaws? Yes. But in the end of the day, she cares about Jamie. Stepsister or not, she cares about Jamie and she will fight for her. And it's really beautiful to see. And it really brings a warmth to this character. And I think she's a very underrated final girl. She's one of my favorites. Because in the end of the day, she fights so hard for fucking Jamie. Not even for herself. She fights so hard for Jamie. And throws herself in harm's way for Jamie. And it's just great to see. Because usually in movies like this, the siblings, in these older movies, if there was a step sibling, they usually be at odds, and then the turmoil would make them be friends in the end. And this, Rachel's already on Jamie's side. Yes, she's a little self-absorbed a little bit, and she wants to be with her boyfriend and stuff, and she does complain about it. But as soon as she finds out that shit hurts Jamie's feelings, she turns around and she's like, I fucked up, Jamie. We're gonna do whatever you want. You know, I'm gonna make you feel like a fucking princess. Pretty much, man. She cares about Jamie, and she understands Jamie's situation of losing her original parents because Lori is dead in this one. She died in a car crash, which is yeah. But um yeah, it's just great to see that. You don't really see that in these older movies. There's usually some rivalry, so I'm glad that it's not like this in this one. Michael's great. Of course, in the beginning, we see that he's like fucked up in a coma because of the fire. And as soon as he hears that there's a surviving sibling, he's got to get the fuck up. And he kills this dude. He slams his head a little bit. He puts his thumb in his head. Fucking cool kill. Um, the ambulance crashes. And then we get Dr. Loomis, and he does a spectacular job here. He does a spectacular job. He's like trying to figure out what's going on. Because they kind of just they did this without Loomis. They're like, we're going to do this transfer without fucking Loomis. And of course, that was a bad idea. And then Loomis comes in and he finds out that they fucked up. And then he's like, I'm going to go. I know what this is. I'm going to go deal with it, He's like, I'm going to go, fix your mistake. And he goes to the ambulance, and they're like, oh, it's fine. He's dead. He can't move at all. It's nothing. You're fine. And Loomis is like, you don't know what the fuck you're dealing with. He's like, I'm going to go to Haddonfield, man. He's like, I'm going to go to Haddonfield. If you can't find him in 4 hours, I'm pretty sure I will. And then, because Haddonfield was a 4-hour drive. And he goes on the hunt. And he ends up at a gas station where Michael had attacked someone with a steel pipe, which was a cool little. It was really cool looking because he kind of looked like the Mummy a little bit, or the Invisible Man when he did that. So that was a nice callback. Not the Mummy. He looked more like the Invisible Man when he did that. The 30s Invisible Man. It was it was a cool little callback to that. And he stabs him with the pipe. Yeah, it cuts away, but I thought it was cool looking anyways. And Loomis finds him dead and finds all the people there dead, and phones are cut off. And then he has an encounter with Michael. And I really like this moment where Loomis is sitting there and he's like, Michael, don't go to Haddonfield. Kill me if you want to do this. Kill me. Don't leave those people alone. He's kind of talking nice and softly to Michael. And he's like, go to hell! Fucking pulls his gun out. Starts busting caps in his ass. It's a really cool scene. But of course, he's not able to get Michael, and Michael escapes. Michael's drives to Haddonfield. You want to be in the video? You can be in the video. Okay. Now you're just blocking the way. No, you don't like soup. You won't eat that soup. But anyways, sorry, cat interruption. But anyways, and it's fun seeing Loomis try to get to Haddonfield. You got those teenagers to fuck with him, and then he gets a ride with this dude. And I have a headcanon about this. I know this isn't true, but I like to think that this dude, he gets a ride with a priest. And I like to think that this is the priest from Salem's Lot, the book. I've never seen the movie, but from the book. And let me explain. Now, the dude from Salem's Lot, What happened is the priest from Salem's Lot, he has an encounter with the head vampire, and they have a battle of wills, and and the priest loses. He loses and he gets infected by evil. He doesn't become a vampire, but he gets infected by evilness. I think it explains. Anyways, he is soured pretty much, and his faith is destroyed, and he decides to flee. He flees Salem's Lot, and before he goes and buys some alcohol. Um, because throughout the book we had seen him, he was battling his alcoholism. Um, he was having a battle with it, and sometimes he did have moments where he fucked up and he was drinking, but he was trying to beat it. And then at the end, he just pretty much gives up and gives in to his alcoholism. Um, and then he leaves, and he feels regret. And now here's where my headcanon comes in. This is years after he has changed his name, and he's trying to rediscover his faith in God. And yes, he's still drinking, but he's chasing down that fight. He wants that fight again. Because in the first book, throughout the book, I know we're taking a detour in the Salem's Lot, but in the first Salem's Lot book, he really wants to fight the vampires. Well, not the vampires, but he really wants a fight with evil. And then when he has it, he fucks it up. And in the movie, this dude said he's chasing Armageddon, and it comes in many faces. Like, he talks like he's seen some shit. So my theory is that's the same dude. And I know my theory don't mean shit, but that's the same dude, and he's hunting. He's looking for the next fight with evil. Pretty much, he's traveling around in his truck, trying to rediscover his faith in God, still drinking like a madman, and just trying to get that fight again to redeem himself. And then he meets up with Loomis, and I think it works so well because Loomis is also, Loomis obviously feels regret for what happened before, that he couldn't stop Michael. I already went into this on Halloween 2 of how I believed that, and in the end, when he did the fire, he was doing that to sacrifice himself because he was regretting the events of Halloween 1, and all the people that had died in Halloween 2 as well, and he kind of blamed himself for Michael. So him and Michael going down in the blaze together was kind of his redemption. Of course, in this one we find out he survived that and just has a little scales on his face, but I think they have similar arcs, and I think that could be cool. So that's my little theory. But yeah, so Jamie, not Jamie. Rachel takes Jamie, Halloween costume shopping, and she tells her boyfriend what's up, Brady, who's a douche. Brady's not taking it, and so Jamie finds a clown costume that looks very similar to Michael, and then she sees Michael in the mirror, and she's been having visions of Michael the whole movie. And I kind of see this as a precursor to like 5 and 6. This is like already showing that they kind of have that connection because of the Call to Thorn or whatever the fuck. They have that connection already, but it gets stronger through the movies. And of course, Michael goes to the convenience store to get his mask, which I still don't know why they're selling it there. Obviously, everybody knows what mask he used. So why are you still selling this mask that a known serial killer used to kill people in your town? Why are you still selling this? Why shouldn't this mask be like taken off shelves? It's been like what they said, like 10 years? Like, shouldn't this mask be gone? I don't know, man, but Michael scares Jamie and then he gets the fuck out of Dodge. But yeah, so Jamie and Rachel, they go out and do their trick-or-treating. Meanwhile, Michael creates some havoc. He kills this dude, Bucky, at the power station and throws him into the electricals, which is really cool scene. I really like that electrocution. I thought it was fun. Um, and it really sets up like the whole town being blacked out is really creepy. Uh, they go trick or treating at one house. Douchey Brady is there with the sheriff's daughter. Uh, then he pretty much stops Rachel. He runs up to Rachel and he's like, "It's not what it looks like," and then proceeds to tell her it's exactly what it looks like. It's like, what the fuck? And that causes Jamie to get lost because Rachel's trying to catch up with Jamie, but no, Brady won't let her, keep track of her fucking sister. So, of course, now Jamie's missing with a serial killer on the loose, and Rachel can't find her. They're separated. Fuck you, Brady. Fuck you. That's all his fucking fault. In my opinion. And of course, some local rednecks see that something fucked up is going down, so they start their own militia, and go to figure shit out. Rachel finds Jamie, and Loomis finds him. Loomis and Sheriff Beamer, I forgot his name, but or Beaker, it's Beaker. Yeah, they all meet up, and I like how Sheriff Beaker's very willing to believe, because it seems like he was on the force for the first Halloween. So unlike Brackett, where Loomis had to convince him, Beaker's all on board. Then a group of Michael Myers show up, and you had this great scene where Loomis is about to shoot them again, but it turns out it's just a bunch of neighborhood kids, because this mask is still being fucking sold for some reason. But, that ain't important. So, they all go to the Beaker's house, and they pretty much set up like an Alamo. But first they go to the police station, find out that's been slaughtered. Like, a dude has his arm ripped off. It's pretty nasty shit. And I think it's creepier just seeing the aftermath of what Michael did. Because usually I don't want to see, like, kills off screen, but it's creepier because we do get to see the bodies and stuff. So it's creepier just imagining what Michael did to this police force. Very effective. Then count how many times I say in this video. I seem to say that a lot. But Dr. Loomis, that Dr. Loomis, Sheriff Beaker, another dude, Kelly Beaker, or whatever, his daughter, Brady, Rachel, and Jamie are all in this house. And this is like their Alamo, They're like holding it down, bolting all the walls. All the men are armed. They're getting ready for the shit to go down. But what they don't know is Michael had hitched a ride there as well, and is probably already in the house. They're trying to get radio connections and shit. Rachel gets back at that bitch who is boning her boyfriend. She spills some coffee on her. It's pretty fun. It's pretty satisfying. I like Rachel at this point, so it's pretty satisfying having her put that bitch in her place. Very, very, minor stuff in the movie, but it was just enjoyable. But, Loomis decides he's gonna go out and hunt down Michael. And, I love that line where he's like, where they're like, the police, the out-of-state people are coming. And then Loomis is like, they're not gonna be able to stop him. I don't know if anybody can stop him, but I gotta try. And he leaves, and it's just a great Loomis line. He has a lot of good lines in here. As always, Donald Pleasance always has some great lines, and you can tell, like, once he leaves the series that it starts to lack a little bit. There's just a hole where he used to be. Um, but yeah, Loomis takes off to find Michael. Um, and there's this great scene where the sheriff on guard's talking to Rachel. I believe it's Rachel, either that or the daughter. And they leave, and we kind of seen it in the background, and I think the music plays a little bit, but we see Michael's mask just hanging in the background, just for a quick second, which reminds me very much of the original and the second Halloween. I think this one did a very good job at trying to keep that feel. It doesn't have that exact feel, but there are moments, and I'm like, there's the original Halloween again. There's Halloween 2, you know. It's still, there's some moments. It doesn't do as well as Halloween 2 is keeping that feel, but it still does it a little bit. Then we get the chicks bringing coffee, and this is probably one of my favorite scenes. She can't see anything, so she's complaining about how the power's off, and so they could watch like MTV and shit. Fucking MTV. But anyways, she lights the candle, and we see the sheriff's dead body lying next to where she put the coffee. And it's like, oh shit, man. And that music starts playing. Not exactly the same music from the original, but that music starts playing, and then Michael gets up out of the chair, and he takes the shotgun and puts it right through the sheriff's daughter's stomach, and through the wall. Like, whoa, it's really fucking cool. It's probably one of my favorite Michael kills, and it's just like, damn, man, it's really memorable. Compared to Halloween 1 and 2, Halloween 1 and 2 have the atmosphere, and Halloween 2 is some pretty damn good kills. The melting, the blood taking out of the nurse, and the sticking the chick's head in the thing, the hot tub, and the one where she holds the girl up with the scalpel, where he holds the girl up with the scalpel. Great kills. But this one has some really good ones as well. This one has some really memorable ones as well. Just fantastic kills. Fantastic fucking kills. The shotgun through the chest is great. Also like to mention that Dr. Loomis has told the rednecks that they're the drunk rednecks that, Michael is on the loose, and he's thinking, this is gonna help because there's no police force anymore. At least anybody we can take, we can get. What he didn't think about is these drunk rednecks are just going around shooting at everything in sight, and they accidentally kill a teen. It's like, what? This town's fucking terrifying, man. Because not only do you have serial killers on the loose, but the people hunting the serial killers have a habit of just shooting teenagers. This is the second time this has fucking happened. This is the second time a teenager has died for just being out on Halloween night and just kind of looking like our killer. And yet they're still selling the fucking mask. I can't get over that shit. I can't get over the fact that they're still selling the fucking mask. But anyways, we'll get back to this. Michael, Rachel finds out what the fuck's going on. She's like, we need to go, but she also needs to find Jamie, because she was by the radio, and she doesn't know where Jamie is. So Brady finds her, and he's like, let's get the fuck out of Dodge. He tries escaping, he can't. She finds Jamie, but Michael also finds them. Brady decides to kind of try to redeem himself. He's not very good at it, because a second ago he was just going to leave Jamie for dead. But now he's like trying to play the hero and take on Michael. And Michael puts that bitch in his place. Um, Brady tries to shoot him, doesn't work. Uh, Tries to hit him with the shotgun like a baseball bat. Michael overpowers, throws the gun to the side. This guy lays some rights on fucking Michael. Or lefts, I don't know what arm he used, but in the end, Michael grabs his arm, breaks it, and then kind of lifts him and kind of breaks his skull. It's really cool. And you can hear the skull cracking. It's like, really cool. And they use music. They use that music good here. Then we have another chase scene. And they get on the roof, man. Rachel and Jamie get on the roof, and Michael's on the roof too. And this is one of the most tense scenes of the movie. They really use the music to their advantage here, and this is where I'm like feeling like Halloween 1 and 2 again. While the stakes have been raised, we have never seen an encounter on a roof before. They still use that music, and the music is really the thing that gets you and really elevates the situation. And Rachel ties Jamie up to this cord to kind of lower her down, but she ends up getting attacked by Michael. And she ends up rolling down. So not only do we have Jamie like hanging in the air from this wire, but we also have Rachel hanging on to the rafters while Michael's slicing at her. And really cool to see Rachel really takes on Michael here, and really does her best to protect Jamie. Which is one reason why I really like her in this film. Rachel ends up falling. Jamie is able, to get down safely. She takes off on her own. She meets up with Loomis. Loomis is like, let's go to school. And they go into school, and it's really creepy, really well done. I think it's really creepy in there. And then Super Saiyan Michael shows up, because Michael randomly has blonde hair in the scene. So yeah, that's a problem. But I can overlook it. It's kind of funny though. It's just like he randomly has blonde hair. Like, did they use the mask from Halloween 2? Because the mask from Halloween 2 that Ben Tramer was wearing, that had like lighter hair. So maybe that was that mask. But how I don't know. But it's just funny. And he throws Loomis through a window. We have more of a chase scene with the music. They really used the music good here. And it's not exactly the Halloween theme, but it still feels like it. Rachel jumps out with the fire extinguisher. Saves Jamie. Fucking badass. Then she meets up with the drunken rednecks. And they decide to get the hell out of Dodge. They flee the town. And then we have our epic finale. Michael catches them on the road. He stabs two of the guys, throws them off. Just throws the other guy off. He doesn't even bother to stab him. Reaches into the truck of Earl, one of our main characters, who I think may have been Bob's dad, because it was said he was one of the dad of the teenagers that died. It said he lost a son. So I'm gonna just go out on a limb here and say it was Bob. It could have been one of the nurse people too, but I'm gonna say he was probably Bob's dad. He gets his throat like ripped out by Michael's hand. It's really cool. And Rachel has to like drive with Michael on the front, on top of the car. She gets him off, and then she sees him in the road, and she's like, "Die, you son of a bitch!" And she hits him with the fucking car. Fucking cool ass scene, and they use the music so good there. And like I said, you really care for these characters, so just seeing moments like that was just so satisfying. And of course, Jamie, having this weird connection with Michael, walks up to Michael's dead body and touches the hand of Michael. Then the cavalry shows up, and Michael gets up, and they shoot him, and he falls through the ground. He gets shot to bits, and he falls through the ground, and boom, he's gone. which was a really epic ending for Michael. You still can't, it still doesn't beat 1 and 2 endings, with Michael on fire and then Michael, being shot 6 times off a balcony. But it was still really cool. Um, then they go home and Loomis is like, well, they survived this, they can survive anything. And I'm kind of sad that it's like the mom takes Jamie upstairs and she leaves the dad along with Rachel. I'm kind of sad like the father or the cop didn't, like the sheriff didn't go like, you did good, Rach, because Rach didn't have to do half the shit she did. She's just a teenager and she's sitting here battling this legendary serial killer. Like this guy's legend and they're fucking down. She brought it to him to protect her sister. I do think that she deserved to be told, at least by her fucking dad, that you did good, you know. I do think that should have been said, at least as comfort. But then we get the great scene where Jamie has the clown costume on and she picks up a pair of scissors and she stabs her mom. And supposedly kills her, and then Loomis is like, "Oh my god!" and tries to shoot her, and of course he is stopped. But at the end, we just see Jamie there with the knife, with the scissors, and in the costume, which we saw earlier when she was looking in the mirror. She saw Michael Myers, as young Michael Myers in the clown costume. Um, Now, I think what happened was, and I kind of got this from James Rolfe, which I agree with his perspective on this, is what happened is they were already connected, but when Jamie touched Michael's hands, Michael's traits went into Jamie. So she got his bloodlust, and as we see in part 5, she got his muteness, because he didn't speak for like 10 or 13 years, they said, or 15 years. I forgot how many, but he doesn't speak. And we'll get more into that when I get to Halloween 5. But yeah, I really like this one. Is it I won't tell you if I like it more than the other two. You'll just have to find out, but I really enjoy, or the other three actually. But I really enjoy this one. It kind of keeps the traits of the first two. Um, it doesn't do it as well, but it still does it pretty damn good. And it does keep the season of Halloween. And you really like this character. You really like Jamie. You really like Rachel, and you want them to make it. So when they deliver the punches to Michael, when they get him and shit, it's really satisfying. And yeah, I give this one a high 9. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers is worth the watch. It's really fun. And yes, does it have a mistake here and there? Yes. But in the end, like I said, it's just a really good ride. It's just a really good fun film. And if you're worried about it like messing up the continuity, just watch it as a standalone, because I'd say most of these movies work better as standalones than they do as franchises. I think that's what Halloween was really good at, is just making very good standalone films that you can watch by themselves and just ignore the other continuity. At least that's how I see it. But anyways, yeah. Next time, Halloween 5. I haven't seen this one in a while, but a lot of people shit on it. Yeah. Also, I'd like to say, my friend Corey is also doing the Halloween franchise. Should have said this before. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. Check him out. He's killing it, man. He's killing it, and his reviews deserve to be seen. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Stay frosty. This is Trenchy signing off. Beep bop boop.